Hello everyone, this is the first lecture of the subject control system. In this lecture, I am going to start the chapter named Basics. The topics that will be covered in this chapter, I'm first listing down the name of the topics. First we will learn introduction, then we will go for some terminologies. After terminologies, we will learn mathematical modeling. And then block diagram, and at the last signal flow graph. The chapter is divided these 5 broad areas. In introduction, we will discuss about system, control system, what are different kind of configurations that is involved in control system, like closed loop control system, open loop control system, and all that. Then after introduction, we will go for terminologies. Actually, control engineers in their daily work use some terminologies to define some parameters. We need to be familiar with those terminologies. In this portion, I will discuss about those terminologies. Then we will go for mathematical modeling. First, let me tell you what is mathematical modeling. Any physical object or any physical system can be represented in terms of some mathematical functions. Those representation of mathematical functions of any system is called mathematical modeling. In system engineering, there are mainly 3 types of mathematical modeling. One is differential equation, another one is transfer function method, the third one is state space method. Though state space method is a bit advanced topic and we will not learn about state space method in this chapter, there is a separate dedicated chapter, that is state space analysis. There I will discuss about state space analysis, state space method of modeling. The transfer function modeling is used in control system in a wide way. So we will learn, we will mainly focus about transfer function modeling, and talking about differential equation modeling. The differential equation modeling is the fundamental modeling technique. Transfer function modeling and state space method is derived from differential equation because of some mathematical complexity involved in differential equation. So I will discuss mainly transfer function method in this portion. Then we will go for block diagram. After completing mathematical modeling, there is another kind of modeling, that is any modeling is representation of some physical object or system. So block diagram is representation of physical system by use of some blocks. In any programming environment like MATLAB, whenever you are going to design one system, you will use block diagram. Block diagram designing, in the designing process of any system, block diagram is the first and foremost task that is to be done. Sometimes block diagram may be a bit complex. Okay. So when block diagram is complex, it is difficult to analyze as the overall system. In order to simplify the equation, we will learn some block diagram reduction technique, and we will reduce the block diagram, the complex block diagram, into a simpler one. And again, sometimes it may happen that the block diagram is so much complex that it is time consuming to reduce with the help of block diagram reduction technique. Then actually the concept of signal flow graph comes into the picture. Signal flow graph is another method of representing physical object. It is derived from block diagram itself. First we will learn how to convert block diagram to signal flow graph, and then based on some formula, signal flow graph can be easily analyzed and easily can be simplified. Okay, so these are the topics that will be covered in this chapter. So let me first discuss what is a system. What is a system? A system is a collection of some object. It may be mechanical, it may be thermal, it may be electrical, it may be anything. Collection of some object is called system, provided the system, the objects, the individual objects is connected in such a way that the overall system will work some useful thing, like it needs to be accomplish some goal. It needs to accomplish some goal. Okay, those collection of objects will be called systems. Actually, system, how does system works? System actually communicates with its surroundings, and system is always separated from its surrounding by a suitable boundary. It may be physical boundary or it may be virtual boundary, but it is separated from its surroundings, and it communicates with the surroundings in terms of energy. One is input, another one is output. It takes some input in terms of energy and gives some output in terms of energy again to the surroundings. So this is a system. This is a simple representation of a system. Okay. Now, what is control system? Whenever you are designing some system, you want some specified output from that system with some desired condition. Okay. Now, it may happen due to some reason, the system, whenever you are designing the system, at the designing time the system is giving you the correct output, but after some time, due to some reason, the system output gets deviated from its desired value. Then there we need another additional system named controller that will control the system to minimize the deviation of the output. Okay. The representation will be like that, like this. Here we will use some controller. What this controller will do? Earlier the system was giving you the output. Now if output deviates, the controller will control the system and it will again give the desired output. So the whole thing as a whole is called as a control system. A system and some controller to control the system to get some desired output is totally called control system. Now, after discussing control system, I will go for different classifications of control system, different configurations. We have mainly two types of configuration. One is open loop configuration, another one is closed loop configuration. Now, what is an open loop configuration and what is a closed loop configuration? Let me draw a simple diagram. Remember the diagram I just drawn earlier. A controller and a system, then you are getting some output, you are giving some input to the controller. Now, notice here in this diagram there is the signal is flowing from input side to output side. There is no looping done within the signals or the signal lines. The interconnection, in the interconnection there is no looping done. That's why this system is called open loop configuration. Now, open loop configuration have some problem. Let's say you have designed a system, the system was not giving you the desired output. Though you have designed the system was not giving you the desired output. Then you used a controller and designed a total control system that will give you the desired output, and it was giving you so. You were getting the desired output. But after some time, the desired output, the output of the total system no longer be the same. Let's consider this scenario. The output is no longer be the same. Now what will happen? You need to you need to monitor the output continuously in order to know that the output is same or not. Same, say I mean to by same I mean to say that same as desired output. Okay, the output, if the output gets deviated, you need to monitor the deviation, and based on that deviation you will update the controller. Maybe you will design another controller and you will put there, or maybe you can adjust some parameters from the controller, but you need to take those actions. What is the problem here is, or also you can change this input to the controller so that you can get the desired output. So what is the main problem is, you need to constantly monitor the output, whether you are getting the desired one or not. Now I am saying, if I use another system, that is a measurement system, let us call it sensor, that is a measurement system which will measure. Earlier you were measuring the output, now the sensor will measure the output, and sensor will inform the controller whether the output is deviated or not. Until and unless controller knows that the output is deviated or not, it cannot control the system. So you are using a sensor to inform the controller that the output is deviated or not. Look here, your intervention in this system is minimized by the use of this sensor. And also notice here, one signal line is feeding back from output towards the input side. This is called a loop, and this is called a closed loop. That's why this system is called a closed loop system. Earlier there was no looping done, so the system was open loop system, and now this is a closed loop system. Okay, now what are some advantages and disadvantages of this closed loop and open loop system? Obviously, as you will notice, obviously the open loop system is not self-correcting. What is self-correcting? Self-correcting means if the output is not the desired one, then the controller will control the system to make the output at the desired value. That means the error that is happening inside the output will be minimized. So the system will be continuously self-correcting if the sensor is there, and if the sensor is not there, then the output deviation will not be monitored by any system. It needs to be monitored by you. But if you don't need the monitor the system, monitor the output, then obviously the controller will not know. So open loop system will not be self-correcting, and closed loop system will be self-correcting. This is the advantage of closed loop system and a disadvantage of open loop system. Now what is a disadvantage of closed loop system? A closed loop system, as you can see from the block diagram, the complexity increases in closed loop system. Rather, in open loop system it is pretty easy to implement, because the sensor portion, the measurement unit is hard to implement. And also, apart from complexity, sensor unit has some high frequency noise. So that high frequency noise, it actually inject the high frequency noise in the loop, and the output is actually contaminated with that high frequency noise. So these are closed loop system, and this is a disadvantage, a major disadvantage of closed loop system. But based on some applications, we need to maintain that trade-off, whether we will use an open loop system or a closed loop system based on our requirements. Okay. So this is open loop and closed loop system. Next we will learn what are different terminologies that are involved in control system. Let me first discuss. The first point is plant. What is a plant? The plant is the subsystem. From now on, by subsystem I will mean a single block or a collection of blocks inside a total control system. Okay, and remember, a subsystem is always a system or a collection of some other subsystems. Okay, let me elaborate this thing a bit more. Let's say you have a block diagram like this. So in this block diagram, this can be a subsystem of this total system. In this block diagram, this can be a subsystem of this total system. In this block diagram, this can be a subsystem of this total system also. And notice, these individual subsystems are a system itself, or this individual subsystem is another system comprising of some several subsystems. Okay, so by subsystem I will mean now on a part of a control system. It may be a collection of some blocks or a single block. Okay, so what is a plant? Plant is a subsystem from a control system which needs to be controlled. Plant is the subsystem which needs to be controlled. Like in the block diagram I shown just earlier while discussing the closed loop control scheme. Here it is controller. Here I named is as system itself. Then this was sensor. Okay. So in this diagram, this system was controlled by this controller and monitored by this sensor. So this system is called, or you may call it subsystem of this total system. This subsystem you may call it plant. Okay. So from now on I will name this block as plant. And also one more thing, in chemical industries there are many types of processes going on which is to be controlled actually. Like there is a reaction, so the reaction process is to be controlled, or some parameters from that reaction process is to be controlled, or some flow is happening. Let's say for the reaction there is flow of reagents. The reagent flow must be controlled. So those are processes. That's why this system can also be called as process. So the plant and process are pretty much same, but whenever that is a physical object we will call it plant. If it is a process we will call it a process. Okay. But in this course we will majorly call it plant. Let's not erase this term here. Okay, the second term we will discuss is a controller. As the name suggests, obviously the controller is the subsystem of a control system which controls the plant, which actually commands the plant to make the output at a desired value. Then we will go for reference input. Reference input. What is reference input? Reference input, in single word it can be called as desired output. The desired output. Now let me draw again the closed loop scheme. Now I am naming it as plant. This is controller, sensor, now what is reference input? This signal is called reference input. Now how the controlling is done is, okay, this is a controller, this will be called as controller output or control variable. Okay, so this is the plant output, The output is measured by the sensor and the sensor will inform the controller, and how the controller will decide that whether this output needs to be changed or not, it will compare it to the reference input. That means this output is the actual output, that means the measured output. Let me write it here, measured. I hope the font is clear, I hope. Okay, the measured output will be first compared with the reference input. That means the measured output will be first compared with the desired output, and based on the difference, if there is a difference between measured output and the desired output, then the output must be deviated, so the output needs to be changed. So the controller will understand that the output is deviated if there is a difference. So this reference input, because of being in the input side, it is called reference input. Reference input is actually the desired output. Okay. The next term, as obvious, okay, it is number 4, is error signal. So as you can understand, the error signal is the difference between reference input and the measured output, or the desired output and the measured output. Obviously, the control system, the main objective of any control system is to minimize this error signal. Okay, next, what is response? I think this would that would be better if I talked about response a bit earlier, but it doesn't matter. What is response? Response is output of plant. Okay, if you have a plant, let me erase this total block. Okay, so response is output of any system. So you may call this total control system as a system and the output of this system, is called response. Or you have a single block, a system, the output of this system can also be called a response, and the response actually are named with the help of its input. Like if you give some impulse signal to a system, then the output will be called as impulse response. Earlier I said in the introduction video that I will discuss the topics that from signals and systems that will be covered in this that will be needed in this lecture series. Don't worry, I will discuss each and every signal, that is impulse signal, what is step signal. For now, just remember, impulse signal is a kind of signal and step signal is also another kind of signal. So whenever you are giving some impulse input, the output is called impulse response. If you give some step signal input, then the output will be step response. If it is unit step, then the output will be unit step response. So response is basically the output of any system, and it is named after the input or to the system. Now another important parameter, that is disturbance. We will come across about disturbance so many times in this lecture series. What is disturbance? Disturbance is actually the signal which is unwanted. First of all, which is unwanted, it may be noise or it may not be noise also. Okay, actually we classify noise as high frequency disturbances, and those disturbances will be from outside the system. Those are called noise. Or it can also be, disturbance can also be from inside the system. So what is disturbance? Disturbance, as the name suggests, disturbance is a signal which will disturb the system. That means disturb the system means it will deviate the system. Okay, deviate the output of the system. So disturbance is the unwanted signal present inside the system or outside the system, which will affect the output and contaminate the output to deviate it from its desired value. This is called disturbance. Then there is another important manipulated variable. Manipulated variable. What is manipulated variable? This term is actually from process control, but to learn the basics of control system we need to learn about manipulated variable, because these terms are the fundamental terms. Okay, so what is manipulated variable? Manipulated variable, okay, let me give you some scenario. Let's say you have a tank, an outlet of a tank is there, an inlet of a tank is there. Okay, there is some water at level H. The outlet flow is Q naught and the inlet flow is Qi. Okay, the inlet flow is Qi and the outlet flow is Q naught. Now you have the scenario that you are the controller, you need to control the level of the water in the tank. So how you will control this level? Either by increasing or decreasing inlet flow, or by increasing or decreasing outlet flow, or by manipulating the two variables at a time, you can control the level. So let consider a scenario that input variable is beyond your control. Now if input variable is changed, like Qi is increased, then obviously the level will be increased. If Q naught is if Q naught is constant, okay, if Qi is decreased, then obviously the level will be decreased. So Qi is beyond your control and it will disturb the system by changing the level. So this is disturbance, and disturbances are beyond your control. Now you have the independence to control the outlet flow by some valve. So you will have some device that will give the stem of the valve. Stem means the I don't want to go deep into the valve concept. Let consider this is a rough diagram. Okay, there is a, okay, it's becoming like Venturi tube. So let's say this is the pipe and you have some rod, and with that rod you have some bud out at one end of the rod. Now if you force it towards down, then the bud will sit like this, and so that the downward motion will be like that, the flow through the pipe will get disturbed. Okay, will be reduced actually, and at this position it will be completely stopped. It will be called as 100% closed or 0% open. And if you pull that rod outside, then this will allow the flow. This will be called 100% open or 0% closed. These concepts are from process control. So by manipulating the position of this valve, you can control the flow. Now this device will manipulate the position of this valve, and the valve will manipulate the outlet flow. By manipulating outlet flow, you can control the inlet flow, like sorry, not inlet flow, you can control the level. Let's say inlet flow is increased, the level will be increased. So the control system will then command the valve to increase the flow, increase the outlet flow. So when inlet flow increases, outlet flow will also be increases, and the increase in outlet flow will cause the level to be at same level. So this is manipulated variable, the variable which is manipulated in order to achieve the control goal or the control objective. The manipulated is the variable which will be manipulated in order to achieve the control objective. The control objective is to control the level at H, and the manipulated variable, the variable which is manipulated to control this this level, is the outlet flow, is the manipulated variable. Okay, so these are the terms that are involved. Apart from that, I think there is not so much. Now, if I have missed any term, I will eventually discuss those terms whenever needed in this context. Okay, this much for this lecture. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.